Council meeting to order. The invocation will be given by Gene Anderson. Would you all rise, please?
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we're indeed thankful for our elected officials, and we pray that you would guide and direct them tonight as they conduct the city business. Father, we thank you for the citizens that are here tonight, Father, and their interest in the affairs of the city. We thank you, Father, for blessing our city and prospering it, and we pray that you might continue to do so. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance will be given by Sue Lancaster. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now call the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes unless an item is posted on the agenda. The Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under the Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. I open the Citizens Forum. Would you like to come and speak on a matter?
Yes, my name is Billy Bell. I live at 2054 Cleveland. My wife and I have purchased some property over on 17th Street Southeast. I noticed yesterday in the paper where y'all was going to bid for more curb and gutter and everything. The biggest problem we've got on our street is in front of Dr. Street Marine. I'm going to say 40 to 60% of that runoff goes across her drive into our property. So I don't know which councilman is mine for that district, but anyhow, if he's listening, maybe we can work together on something. And also on the bus route deal tonight y'all going to discuss, I'm way in support of that. In our neighborhood especially, we have lots of senior citizens that doesn't drive that it would really benefit. Thank y'all.
Sir, did you sign in?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council?
Gladfelder, Paris, Texas. New housing should and must be built. For instance, from between Church Street and the Kroger, from Lamar to Polk Street, you essentially got one giant ghetto there. A lot of drugs, a high crime area, very substandard housing. Tonight there's going to be a proposal to build more housing, and tonight it'll be rejected, probably, and it'll be the third strike. Too many slumlords suck the blood out of this community like parasites. They get away with violations and they keep making money while our police handle their clients. Even if new housing is not approved, then we should look at certificates of occupancy for all existing rental properties, because renting a house is a business like any other business. There's no difference whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, as housing costs increase in the Metroplex Dallas area, so will our need for housing increase, because we will lose people in the Dallas area and they will come here for cheaper housing. Be prepared for that. I'm going to name a few names off to you. Auburn, Maine, York, Pennsylvania, Schenectady and Troy, New York, Greenfield, Massachusetts. They were beautiful towns, and I saw them myself and I knew the future. They did not have code enforcement that was good. They did not let housing come in. They let themselves become at the mercy of slumlords who had substandard housing. If you want to put housing up, affordable housing. Put it in the 5th district. Get rid of the slums there. You have a future to contemplate. That's your district, Mr. Farson. You better think about it because you do have some slums right on Church Street. Take care.
Is anyone else who wishes to speak before the city council?
My name is Mary Wilson, and I'm here with a petition from all the homeowners on Sunrise about the low rent apartment complex, and none of us want it. And I would respectfully ask you to accept my petition on behalf of all the homeowners. I thank you.
Give this lady right here.
Evening to the Kelvin James, private 1230 Shallow Street. I'm coming here to housing, say, 2nd District. We need housing over there. These sidewalks, you got things on TV telling kids and sidewalks. If you don't have money, you don't have no sidewalks behind. Just as we need sidewalks all the way down Shallow. Got 4 houses on the street, it's between 16, but I got 4 houses. My house, the house next door, 2 other houses. We need housing in Shallow Street. Please come with our side of town. Please, 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 please. Thank you.
My name is Brenda Cherry, and I just want to say, at the last meeting, I was shocked that, I don't know, apparently people think that affordable means Section 8, voucher, low rent, and Paris needs housing. Actually, it needs low-income housing, and it needs mid-income housing. I'm just shocked that nobody wants decent housing in Paris. I know Mr. Plattas, last time he said that Paris has too many apartments. I do not agree. I mean, there may be a lot of apartments, but they're old, they're run down, except those that are on Lamar. So where are people that are not wealthy? I don't think that a few people should be able to, because they don't want it in Reno or near Reno or wherever. The North Lamar School District is what I think. But where are the people that want to live decently, where are they supposed to live? You know, if no new housing is ever built. It's probably been about 30 years since any apartments have been built except those Park Place and Town Park and whatever that is. We need housing in Paris. That's just that.
Anyone further wishing to speak? Seeing no one else coming forward, I close the citizens forum and put forth the consent agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to pull anything out of that consent agenda? Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Want them to stick together. Okay, we will go into the irregular agenda. Item number 9, conduct the first public hearing on an ordinance disannexing 2 tracts of land, each being a 5.025 acre tract located in the Wesley Askins Survey, abstract number 7, being lots 14, and 16 of the Wildwood Estate subdivision according to the plat of such addition recorded in envelope 321-A, Lamar County Plat Records, page 41. Do you have any discussion on this first public hearing? Anyone wishing to speak for it? Anyone wishing to speak against it? Okay, I assume that's going to be read again the next.
Yes, Ms. Lancaster, this was the first public hearing. There will be a second public hearing, the next meeting on the 22nd, and then the council will be able to take up and consider the disannexation ordinance
Okay.
at the meeting on March 14th.
Well, we look forward to being able to address that further. All right, we're moving on to number 10. Receive public input, discuss and act on a resolution in support of the Brownstone Group Incorporated's application to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, TDHCA, and the proposed development of Paris Senior Village to be located in the southeast corner of Sunrise Drive and 42nd Street, northeast, and approving the request for a de minimis contribution for development of an 80-unit rental housing community for adults aged 55 and up. Is there anyone who wishes to discuss?
We do have a
Pickle?
representative from the developer
Okay.
who'd like to apparently give you some information, also make a presentation. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jeremy Mears. I'm the Vice President of Brownstone. Thank you all for hearing me today. I wanted to briefly give you a quick rundown about who we are as a company, and then I'll get into what we're proposing. We've been in business probably almost 40 years. We're a family-run company. We've built, probably in the last 10 years, probably about 3,000 to 5,000 units of apartments. I mean, so we've been doing this a long time, own and manage thousands of units. Our company, we build a lot of Class A apartments, senior housing. We're really big into historic renovation developments in large towns and go in and build senior housing. So we've got a great track record, and I think the product that you'll see in the flyer is product that's all developed and funded with the same funding source that we're talking about tonight. And I know sometimes these developments sometimes get a bad rep and are sometimes categorized with substandard, very mismanaged apartment developments when they are nowhere even close to developments like that. So first off, this development that we're proposing is, and all we're doing is making an application for a funding source that could not even happen. It's just something we're working on, and we're trying to see if potentially it could be done here. It's 80 units, and it is senior housing, so it's for 55 and up. Would not have an impact on the schools because we're primarily focusing on our elderly seniors who are on fixed Social Security income and who are looking for a nice, decent place to live. I think if you look at the rental rates in here, and I want to point to something, 20 of these units are market rate, which means anyone can live there if they want to. 43 out of them are 60% AMI, which if you look on page 3, and I'm going to focus on that, which would mean if a couple was living in there and they were at a 60% area median income, it would be at an income level of $25,200 a year. And I don't know what Social Security rates are currently for most of the elderly citizens. I know in certain areas that's probably pretty close to maybe what they are receiving on Social Security. So they would have the opportunity to live in a facility like this. There are background checks. If you have a felony, we do not allow anyone with a felony to live in our developments. We have security cameras up. They're gated, fenced off, very well managed. Our management company is UAH. They're out of the Dallas market. And they handle and manage all our Class A developments. They manage thousands and thousands of units, have a great track record, and it's very professionally managed. So, and another thing, most of our seniors don't drive, so you're not going to have a high traffic count in the area. We usually buy a nice bus with a nice handicap access. We put our logo on the side, one of these big nice Ford F-350s that you see, and if they need to go to the grocery store, we can take them up there and bring them back if they need groceries, things of that nature. So having built Class A apartments and this senior housing, I must say, I mean, when you drive by one of these facilities, it will look just like a Class A active senior housing development. I mean, we have fitness centers and media rooms and libraries and all types of amenities for our seniors that live there. And I don't know if there's anything like that in town, and especially if we didn't go after this funding source, these rental rates could be pushing $1,500 to $2,000 a month for a unit such as this. And since we are able to go after these credits, we're able to have rental rates, if you're in a 60% AMI, a one-bedroom unit would be $502 a month, and a two-bedroom unit is $675 a month. So we're not talking, these aren't $100 a month units. You still have to have some type of income coming in from somewhere. And usually being seniors, that income is usually from a Social Security check. So I know everybody realizes that, yes, seniors do sometimes need a place to live, but sometimes it's very unaffordable for them to go out and find decent, safe housing that's not too expensive, where they don't have to have a yard to keep up. So I just want to make everyone aware of that. So, but these units, and I know some pictures are going by, and these are some of the developments we've done with the same funding source. And these are all senior housing developments. And what we're looking to do is put in probably single-story type homes, more toward that back up to the subdivision, and maybe 1 2-story building as you go further east away from the development toward the open field back over there is what we're looking to do. I don't see a major impact. We do have a little over 7 acres there, and I think it's going to be very, very nice for the area if we're able to get it. Now, if everybody's wondering what this is we're going after, well, let me explain what it is. A tax credit is nothing more than a credit. And the only investors in these developments are myself and our bank. There is no government source that comes into here. All that happens is there's a credit out there, and it's based on the population of the state. Every person in the state of Texas and any state in the country can receive about 80 cents per person in the form of a credit. So Texas being a large state, you can go after, there's a huge source of these credits that are out there. We go and get those credits, and those credits are used to be able to lower the debt on these facilities. So if we get, say we got $10 million in credits for one of these developments, we can go and sell those to a bank for say 90 cents on the dollar. So we're able to get cash for that development, which makes our note much smaller. And part of having a lower note allows us to have lower rents. It's just pure economics is how it works. So when this program was started in '86 by Ronald Reagan, who started the program, he was trying to encourage private developers to invest in affordable housing. So he started this program, and that's how it started. So it's not a program. I know there's Section 8 housing authority developments, and that's a totally different type funding source. And there's a need for that as well, but that's not what this is. And so I just want to make that clear that when you start hearing all these things thrown around about Section 8, low-income housing, and yes, there's a lot of that out there, and there are needy families that have no money coming in, and they have to have something like that. But that's not what this is. And sometimes it gets lumped into this big pool of other developments, and it's looked poorly and down upon. And truly, there is a need for this type of housing as long as it's done properly and by experienced developers who manage it, own it. We'll own this development for a minimum of 15 years. And the age limit of 55 and older is put into the form of a LURA, Land Use Restriction Agreement, and it's filed at the courthouse and has to remain there for at least 40 years. So it's not like all of a sudden we got 55 and older and all of a sudden, oh, 2 years from now these developers are selling this place and anybody can move in. Well, that's not how it works. So there's a LURA that is filed at the courthouse. You cannot do that. And the only thing that TDHCA does, which is the Texas Department of Community Affairs, they just oversee the program and make sure that we're following the rules. And they check us annually to make sure that we're not renting to individuals who aren't qualified to live there. So there's a lot of oversight. I think it'll be done well if we're fortunate enough to even have an opportunity. And so I just wanted to try to explain that a little bit. I mean, you can go through the pictures and see, I mean, I could go through them and talk more about it, but I think maybe just trying to dispel some of the rumors that are being thrown out there, because I know we got a little exciting the last few weeks ago when y'all had another council meeting. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there and let y'all know. But I can take any questions if y'all had any. I can answer them for you.
Mr. Patterson, you have something?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions if you don't mind. With regards to, just so I can understand this better and so we can kind of get this out there, this is just purely for the application. This doesn't guarantee
That's right.
anything.
That's
right?
correct.
And as I understand it, this is taking place throughout Texas.
That's correct.
And we've had several applications go into this process here recently. And I'm curious, how are the locations chosen?
Well, the reason this location was chosen, and you know, there's all type of criteria that help you find a location. This year, the state of Texas is really focused on senior housing, and it's focused on areas with very low poverty rates. And so, if you look at census tracts around the city of Paris, you'll see areas that have lower poverty rates than others. If you look at this region, which is really the eastern portion of Texas, which is a certain region, and that's the region we're competing in, is that region. You try to find areas and cities that have the lowest poverty rates in the whole northeastern quadrant of Texas. And so this area that we're in, over on the east side of Paris, has one of the lowest poverty rates in the whole Region 3, northeast quadrant of Texas. And so that's one of the tiebreakers that the state of Texas has for winning these credits. Everybody's going to probably score the same, and so if everybody scores the same, it's going to float down into tiebreakers. So you try to be the last person standing when you get through all these tiebreakers, and one of those tiebreakers is poverty rate. And then the final tiebreaker, if you got 3 deals in the same census tract, because I think every deal that was put in was in that same census tract, is going to be who's furthest away from an existing tax credit deal. And I think y'all have one, or there's a few of them. One is up in the northwest part of town.
So even if you wanted to qualify for these tax credits, you couldn't place
No,
a
I
development
couldn't
like this
say,
in any other part of the community.
Right, I couldn't say, all right, I think it's better suited over here. Well, it might not win when it comes to the credits. So you're competing against other developers, at least in this region, and then you have developers across the whole state that are competing in other regions. And so I couldn't say, hey, let me go over here where y'all have other lower income housing or something like that, because that's a better place, that's where the city wants it. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, developers would like to be able to do that.
Right.
Go where the city feels as though they need that type of housing. But the state of Texas decides where they want to see housing, because they kind of look at it as if you're building senior housing, they want to make sure seniors in your grocery stores, Walmarts, decent place to live, and not being tossed over into an area that maybe they don't want to see those units being built. And that's just the way it is. I mean, so we don't dictate or make those rules.
Okay. The photos that we saw, those are actual developments that you have
Absolutely.
under management now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And a lot of those, some of those, and that right there, that's a historic deal that was in downtown Vicksburg, and that was 60 units of senior housing, that one there. That one actually got second place in a national award, competing against other developers across the country. So we've got some really good product out there.
One of the concerns I've heard is traffic flow
Yeah.
and traffic count. More congestion, more in and out, more dangerous, bottom line. You seem
Well,
you said
that
it's not the
picture you
case.
just saw, that senior housing, I looked the other day, we have an underground parking garage underneath it. I think I counted about 7 cars, and there's 60 units in there, and it's senior housing.
Right.
Yeah, we just don't typically have a lot of cars at our facilities when it's senior housing. Now, if it was family housing, you had kids and family and all that, yeah, you'd have a lot of traffic and a lot of cars, and then you'd find a different place to potentially build. But this is not going to have a huge impact on the traffic system or the school system, because
What if it does go through with the entry and exit on those streets? It's not really a major artery. necessarily, so. I mean,
Right, I
you
mean,
see-
you've got a couple lead-in streets right there, and we would have to engineer that design, and that would all have to go through the engineering department to see where we need to pop out. You do have a couple entrance points in there that we can utilize, and so we would just try to make that work, and when we lay out our streets and roads, and we might have to improve some things around that area as well.
Which kind of leads to my next question. What, with 80 units and all the things that surround this, what do you see as kind of your total cost of investment?
Well, it's gonna be around $10 million, $10 million. And so we pay taxes, and then we'll be hooked into the water and sewer system, so we are paying into the system. We pay school taxes, and we have kids going to the school system. So, I mean, but it is a $10 million development right there, if we're able to get awarded.
Right.
It might not go through.
And when is the actual period when you find out? I mean, this is kind of new to me, it's seeing all
Right.
these hit.
Yeah, these
Right.
applications go in the end of the month is when they're due. And so, and then we would probably mid-July to the end of July, we would start to hear, and they would send out the awards list is when we
Right.
would know. Right now, I just have the property under contract, which is all they require. We just need site control
Okay.
right now.
That's all the questions I had. Thank you very much.
Mr. Pickle?
I've got some questions, but really more of John and probably the city engineer. If something like this was constructed, a lot of concrete, and we've already got problems with water running behind Morningside, can we make this work?
Yes, if it's properly engineered and properly inspected and properly so forth and so on, you're required to not allow property to leave, by state law, you're not allowed to let water leave your property at a faster rate than what it is before development. So it may require detention ponds or retention ponds or different things, but that's part of the engineering review and construction requirement that you do that. And in the past, that's not been enforced uniformly in Paris, but that's something that we have begun to try to do in the last couple of years because we've got so many drainage issues that shouldn't have ever happened.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Pott?
Yes. All this houses is gonna be 55 and older?
Yes.
None of your units are gonna be allowed to house anybody younger than that?
Well, here's the thing. You have to be 55 and older to be on the lease. If there's a grandmother in there who lives there, and all of a sudden her grandchild needs to come stay with her for a period of time, we cannot deny that if they want to come in there and stay. Now, you're not going to have families moving in, no. But does that happen? Not very often. But sometimes you do have a baby or girl might come and stay with the grandmother. That does happen. And we cannot disallow that. But it has to be, the person on that lease has to be 55 and older. Now, by state law, you could not have two people, more than two people to a unit. Most of our units are one-bedroom units. So you're only going to have two in there. And that's monitored by our management company. So usually, I'm just saying usually from all the senior housing, we have a lot of senior housing. We don't see that very often, but it does happen occasionally.
So you have a manager on site?
Yes, we have a manager on site, we have a maintenance man. We take care of all the grounds, all the mowing, trimming, blowing. I mean, it will be very well taken care of. And usually, our manager lives on site for property. But sometimes it'll be someone that we'll probably pull in from here locally. And we sometimes have our maintenance man that live on site. But they're there every day. And we have office hours. If we have our community center, we'll have a fob to let you get in and out. So it's very well managed with security cameras on that. We have a beautiful community center that we build where maybe they could have little receptions and functions in there. It'll be very well managed and very well taken care of. So, absolutely.
Mr. Jenkins?
Well, my question is, you don't oppose the kids, do you? Because there may be some grandparents raising kids.
That's right, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, it does happen. So,
Right.
we can't oppose a kid moving in there. Now, if she's in a one-bedroom unit, she couldn't come in and have 3 kids in there. That's just not allowed because it's a one-bedroom unit. But if she had one, Yes. Now, if she has two, well, then she might have to need to get a 2-bedroom unit instead of a 1. But that, we can't oppose her having, if she's a grandmother and she's raising a 4-year-old, I mean, you can't keep her from letting that child move in. But, I mean, that's the law when it comes to that. But it's 55 and older on the lease. You couldn't have a young couple move in there and there not be someone in that, on the lease who's 55 and older. But granted, that's why we have 1 and 2 bedroom. These aren't 3 and 4 bedroom apartments because they're not designed for families. And all our services, we have supportive services that we offer quarterly and potentially even more than that. But the services are geared toward our seniors. If it's helping them with, groceries, or if they need some counseling of some sort, we offer those services as well.
Okay, so, all right, anyone else wishing to speak?
Yes, say an older gentleman, let's say he's 24, 25, moves in to take care of his grandmother. Say you're not going to deny that either, correct?
Well, I mean, those situations can happen if you're saying it can, but I'm just saying, I mean, from all the properties that we have, we don't see that happen very often, but he would have to go through the same, if he's going to move in, he would have to go, he's got to be on the lease for one. He's got to show up and go through the same qualifications that his grandmother had to go through to be there. And I'll also say this, if anybody causes a problem in our development, they have to move out. We go through whatever is required by law to evict someone if they're causing problems. There's more scrutiny on these developments than there are market rate developments. I mean, the way these things are monitored. But like I said, I mean, we could come up with 100 different scenarios of what could happen, but our typical client is usually couples that move into those facilities. And so you don't have, typically, I'm saying, you don't have a grandmother move in, then all of a sudden you got 5 kids moving in. That's not our typical client.
Well, what I was getting at, I say that something happens to the grandmother, she passed away, so does he get to stay there after she's gone?
No, he's not. He's got to be on the lease separately at that point, and so he couldn't stay there if he's not age qualified to be in the development. That is correct. The person on the lease that moved in has to be 55 and older.
Okay.
This on-site, you're not guaranteeing that there will be somebody monitoring this property on-site. You're just saying it could be.
You're talking about 24/7, like somebody, like a security officer walking the site?
Well, monitoring.
Well,
things do happen.
Right, and so what in our history, what we try to do, yes, we have someone there. Sometimes we sometimes have courtesy officers that live on site that come in at night. We've had that. Usually that's for family properties. Usually senior housing is pretty low key. I mean, we usually don't have hardly any issues with those type properties, but we try to place cameras in strategic locations in and out of the property. So
how are those monitored?
They're recorded digitally, wirelessly back to the clubhouse. So if any incident ever happens, we have security cameras that can show vehicles maybe that weren't authorized to be in there coming in and out.
So that's an after the fact.
Right, I mean, but to have security officers 24/7 at a facility that, I don't know how many facilities y'all have or apartments. I don't believe there's security officers walking around the property 24/7. It would just be extremely
expensive. No, but those properties
expensive.
tend to be very, very well cared for. I mean, there's
And these
a
will as
benefit.
well. Yeah, and these will as well. And so I'll say this, that, typically having a manager there or a maintenance man and having a manager that would be on the facility as well is good. That way the residents have access, can call that manager. And we have a hotline as well. If somebody has an incident and they can't get in touch with the manager, there's a number they can call and they can reach somebody with the management company. So it's not like it's completely, there's no one around to be able to answer the phone. But that's with any management company that's managing an apartment development.
No, we hope so,
facility.
yes.
You've got to have somebody they can call if they have a leak or if something like that happens. It's managed and run just like a Class A apartment development because we have quite a few of those. So we treat it just like it is a Class A apartment development. It's just where the funds come to help lower some of the debt. That's really the only difference.
Anyone else have any questions?
I don't have any more questions at this point.
Anyone care to make a motion?
Okay. Well, I guess the other thing that I wanted to say just to the council is I think it is important that we do realize that much like we have in previous meetings, we've got more de-annexations on the agenda tonight, and consequently we're losing tax base, and we do need to be cognizant of the strain that we're putting the staff and the budget on. So
Yeah.
just gonna decide to throw that out there. But
Okay. Would anyone from the audience wish to speak on this matter now?
I'm Sybil Colson. I have an office at 819 Lamar. I was here last week, or the last meeting, and I again renew my objections. And I think it's interesting, one of the things tonight has showed that the location is going to be determined where there's the lowest poverty rates. That's not where the greatest need for affordable housing is. Also, the amounts they have set forth as affordable housing are not affordable housing in Paris, Texas. And I don't think seniors could afford those. And I would point out that they also are receiving a $700,000 to $800,000 tax credit. And I don't think anybody disagrees on the need for affordable housing. I think the disagreement here is over the site. This is at the end of a narrow street. I doubt you could probably get an ambulance and a car going side by side. And once again, you're placing high-density housing in a low-density, owner-owned residential area. I'd also point out there are at least 5 senior citizens housing sites here in town. And I think, again, one of the problems is once the tax credits are gone, then the housing project or housing complex is sold, and then it deteriorates. And I think 80 units on 7 acres is extremely high density. And I think the majority of the people that live in the area that this is a good site. It's the traffic on that street, 42nd Street, of which it's all off of, is high traffic, and then you're into Pine Mill Road again, which cannot handle the traffic load.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
You know, my name is Johnny Exum. I live at 4560 Pine Mill Road. I believe this property will back right up to my south property line. This guy's from Houston. They're coming up here to make a buck. And they don't care about what goes on in Paris, Texas. All they want's the dollar. And that is zoned for single-family dwellings, I believe. And 2 years ago when this come up, the city council told us they were going to fix it where this would never come up again. But here we are back up here fighting it again. And we need single-family homes in there, but we don't need a bunch of rent property. I'm for building homes, but I'm not for building a bunch of low-rent property right in the middle of our neighborhood. And that's what we're going to wind up with. And I just kind of want to voice my opinion, because all they want to do is make a dollar. Now, we got to live here. And I know they'll pay a few taxes, but they're also going to want tax abatements. And we need to build single-family houses in there instead of apartments. Thank you.
Anyone else wishes to speak?
I'm Lynn Wells. I live at 365 Southeast 42nd. And I don't know in Pittsburgh how many people drive, but I'm over 65. My husband's over 65. We work, we drive. I don't believe there are only going to be 7 cars. It's an extremely dangerous area all the way from the loop to Reno, and then it's not good in Reno either. But if anybody, for someone who doesn't live either in Sunrise Estates or Morningside, I don't think you have any clue how bad it is. And as far as the water issue, it's news to me that the city is interested in fixing it. But our house is the last house in Morningside. And when Randall Grounds and Artist Edzards put in their addition, the city or somebody required them to put a concrete channel in the bottom, and they widened the channel. But they weren't worried about what was already there, so we're the first house that gets that deluge, which bites into the bank. We've lost about 6 or 8 feet of our land. So I'm glad to hear that the city's interested in doing something about it. Thank you.
The last time we had the hearing on this, we had a show of hands of those people who were living in that area and opposed. Could that be shown as appropriate tonight? All right.
Turn your microphone up.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you knew I had an accident and I'm a little hard to talk right now. Is that better? Could I have a show of hands of those people in support? Not in support, not in support, not in support, not in support. Those in support. Well, it seems like it's about the same as last time. There's more not in support than in support. Do we have a motion?
Can I ask a question?
Surely.
Of somebody out there that went to like the Reno City Council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Reno passed a similar project. Why did y'all come to Paris and push Paris to not do it, yet nobody went to the Reno City Council?
They didn't tell us what was going on, and we didn't find it out until after this, what is going on. And for those of us that live in Reno, it's affecting us, especially the one before, backed up to Pine Valley subdivision. So, we don't necessarily approve of the first thing that Reno did. We didn't find it out until after this started.
But it was just approved in the past, was it last week? Wasn't it? Yeah.
No, it was
One on the same time, there wasn't any there.
at the same time.
At the same, yeah. But everybody came here from Reno. I'm just scratching my head trying to figure out why you would come to Paris and not take care of your own backyard first.
We're taking care of our own backyard because that's what the city of Paris owns, and it butts against everyone that is complaining about it. Most of it, except, well, all this is the city of Paris's zoning land, and it affects us, those of us who are not in the city of Paris.
So you're saying that the Reno one didn't affect y'all?
It may have affected us, but they didn't tell us what was going on, and I didn't find it out until after the last group.
I'm surprised that it sounds like somebody didn't do their homework.
I'll point out too that this one was trying to be slipped under the rug, and we found out about it, and we came here and did something.
This one tonight?
The other two before.
Well, they came and made a presentation 2 weeks before last week.
May I speak?
Yes, you may.
Sure can.
My name is Kelly Garrett with State Street Housing. I'm from Greenville, Texas, and I was the developer that was here the last 2 council meetings prior. And to answer your question on the Reno deal, that's also our deal. And it was on the city council the same night, the first time I came here and gave a presentation. When I came here and gave a presentation, y'all chose to table it and inform the neighborhood. We went to Reno the same night. In fact, my son, who's a partner in our business, went to Reno, and they approved it. They didn't ask to table it. They didn't do anything. No one trying to slip anything under the rug in Reno, Texas, I promise you. Just like no one's trying to slip anything under the rug here in Paris, Texas. Myself, the developer that was here with me the last 2 meetings, and also Brownstone, who also does a great job and great developers. No one's trying to slip anything under the rug.
If you could go to that third picture up there.
The third,
Thank-
the third slide or the third picture?
Fourth one. Now keep going. Well, I'm over here. Keep going. Keep. There you go. Okay. Now maybe this will answer some questions for everybody involved here. Okay. The site that I brought to Paris and gave a presentation and asked for a resolution, and we came back to the second council meeting to have citizens to be heard and have everybody speak. Tonight, y'all are handling this one a little different. He gets to present and you vote on, which we didn't have that opportunity to do that. You turn down the two sites to the right, the red site and the yellow site. The yellow site is our deal, and the red site is the site that Jeremy brought tonight. And if you want to look at locations and which one's better and which one doesn't affect neighborhoods, of course it's the yellow site where we are. That's where we picked. And to answer your question on the as far as seniors driving, we also own senior properties. My senior properties are full of cars. I don't have a senior property that's 60 units that has 7 cars. If you do, you have a lot of vacancies. Everybody here that's over the age 55 that drove here tonight, raise your hand. Well, heck, I did. And everybody here did. And to answer your question about the children, in a 2-bedroom unit, you're allowed two people per bedroom. If there's one grandmother, she can have 3 children living there with her, a senior deal. Senior deals are great. They're a little easier to maintain, yes, but they're not everything that the picture that was painted for y'all. We think we have the best site. We were voted down last time. I haven't given up on Paris, and I'm not about to give up on Paris, but we think we have the best site. If you look at the site he's proposing, you go right through that neighborhood to get there. That's the only way to get there. He made a statement too, and Jeremy, they do a great job. He made a statement kind of like the last man standing. Well, if I could have brought my deal tonight at the tail end, just like he did, then you would have a good decision to make. But since we gave a presentation one meeting, we had to come back to the next meeting, and the whole half of this county showed up in this place. And there was some bad information given by people that took the microphone, and it was taken as if there's no management. Every one of our properties has managers. Every one of them has assistant managers. They all have maintenance people, as Jeremy resembled to. And all the developers that have been before you are honest, great properties, and great developers. And we're not trying to slip anything under the rug. I wasn't going to get up and speak or say anything until that was brought up that something trying to be slipped on the rug. I do not operate that way, and I do not believe any of these other developers do. But we think we have the best site, and as I say, this site he's proposing is definitely through a neighborhood, and these people definitely drive cars. Thank you very much.
There was somebody else.
My name's Cody Kelly. I just had a few things to say, maybe in favor. I think that this could really increase our tax base temporarily as far as construction is concerned. I think we could have a lot of workers help out our economy quite a bit. And then I think as far as the elderly is concerned, I think that they're very underrepresented in the country, really. I think that they do need some affordable housing. As far as the best location, that's up to y'all, really. I do think one of the sites would be a good idea. I think it could really help out our local economy in some form or fashion, help out people get housing, and then end up eventually driving more money back into our economy locally. That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have anyone who wishes to speak or make a motion?
I'd like to ask a question real quick, if I could.
Surely.
And unfortunately, I wasn't here last time, but overall with this process, John, this is kind of a question for you mainly. These 3 gentlemen came and wanted a resolution on our behalf. If they all apply for the same tax credits, are all 3 of them, is there even a possibility all 3 of them or more than one would even get it?
I think it's on paper possible, but in real life, I think there's no chance there'll be more than one at the most.
And with respect to the different locations, it seems to be the point of contention from what I hear. And I get, a lot of different sides of this, and but mainly to keep on point with respect to the locations that are out there, is that something that will be the eligibility criteria. I mean, I know they all are in the qualification stage, so they all meet that initial hurdle, but when it comes time to select the site, will that be weighed in on a lot
I
of
believe
these
that has
issues?
something to do with it, the suitability for the specific type of project. Like, for example, you weren't here, but you may recall from the reading material that the one that was actually facing out onto Pine Bluff, for example, was single-family houses. There's different types of things. This one's different because it's seniors. So there's different kinds of things, and I don't know how complicated the process is, but
And where all those things are weighted may be part of the process, but at least within that criteria somewhere is going to be which of these sites is more suitable for development and selection.
Right. And you know, I mean, going back to your initial question, there's a good chance that none of them will be approved anyway. There's another area that's popular, and at the last council meeting, you got a letter from the TDHCA that actually listed the different places, and you may have noticed if you look at that I think all of the rest of them, or most of them, are from White House. There's an area there that's a high priority and kind of the odds-on favorite to get approved as a site in White House instead of one in Paris anyway. But
well, I guess to draw back, I've asked a lot of questions just trying to formulate an opinion and want to be very respectful for everyone that wants their opinion heard and owns property and all those things. Certainly not taking any of that for granted by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think we, as a council, have a responsibility to look not only at today but in the future, and we're talking about the potential for sizable investments in the community. And we say we want to grow, and we've got a lot of needs that we need to pay for. And a $10 million investment, whether it's this property or another one, you know, we need to weigh that. And that tax base, we have to do something to try to continue to grow and improve. And when you hear a lot about we need more houses and where we need houses and those things, unfortunately, a lot of it's supply and demand. And if there were enough demand, there would be houses there, and that's regardless of location. I think that's just an economic fact. So for my 2 cents, this is an application process. There's no guarantee that any of this or all three of these are going to go through, but if these developers see the potential, then, you know, I think they deserve the shot, and that not just for tonight, but I think that goes for all three personally. So I don't know if there's any more discussion, but if it's time to make a motion, I'll make a motion. We approve the resolution.
Do I have anyone else who would like to speak for it? There's been a resolution made.
Here's my problem. I'm in support of this one. I was in support of the one on Lamar Avenue. And I felt like it sort of got sucked into the emotions of the last council meeting. However, I don't think it's fair for us to support one when we already have turned down two. To me, at least I felt like that one of the other ones was a very doable project. I don't think that, I wasn't in support of the single-family homes that were being built, and I can see a lot of problems with that. But I do think your project's a good project, and I do think your project is a good project. But if we turn down two, I can't see how we can be fair and consistent in approving this one. I mean, I think we screwed up the last time.
Well, you can bring it back.
Would you like to see this tabled for further discussion?
Can we
That would include,
can we bring one of the other ones back for approval or for re-examination?
well, a member of the prevailing side of a previous vote can place an item back on the council agenda for reconsideration. Of course, Mr. Frierson was not here at the last meeting, so he could also request that be placed on the future agenda. Now, I don't know, the deadline for those applications to the state are pretty tight, but
end of the month, wasn't it?
that's what I thought. I don't know, you guys that are doing that could maybe tell us that better than me, but March 1st. so-
March 1st. I would like to table it and bring this one and the other one back at the next council meeting. Because to be honest, I feel like we look sort of stupid when we let Reno come and the Reno neighborhood tell us what they didn't want the city of Paris to do, yet they allowed it to happen in their own community. So I would like to look at both of those two, this one and table this, and look at both of them in the next council meeting.
Do you want to put that in the form of a motion?
Well, you've already got a motion.
Okay.
So if we need to vote on the motion I made, unless you didn't get a second. I don't know if you got a
I
second.
didn't get a second.
Did you withdraw your motion?
Sure, I'll withdraw it. That's fine.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we table this and we bring this project and the State Street Housing Project back at the next council meeting.
I would like to add, I don't know how you do this, the statement as to are there possibilities of other locations, because I certainly would support looking a little further.
Right, but they go.
Yeah, but they.
I wasn't quite sure how to do that because, you know, West Side to me needs a lot of development.
I agree.
So I'm always going to push for that. So.
And I agree with you and had talked to John about that earlier.
Mhm.
But again, these projects don't qualify for, or can't get what they want in West Paris, unfortunately.
Get that.
I'd like to see some way to do that, though. really
I agree,
would.
it'd be great.
I would.
I don't know how.
Okay.
Can I say something, sir?
Surely.
And this don't have anything to do with anything, but Joe Chamey developed a senior citizen on West Washington.
Yes.
The only thing I have problem with this right here, they put 80 units on there.
Mm-hmm.
And he developed something that's quite nice
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't crowd everything like that.
No,
And
it doesn't.
that's the only problem I have with this. 80 units in a little, that's a lot. So that's all I have to say.
All
Okay, I
right.
made my motion.
The motion, and have I had a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So we'll be bringing that back next time.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to 11, discuss and act on proposed amendments to the Paris Economic Development Corporation budget for fiscal year 2015-2016.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Paris. I'm the new Executive Director for the Paris Economic Development Corporation. Thank you for having me here today. I'm here to present to you the changes that the Paris Economic Development Corporation has made to its budget. The overall budget revision reflects a reduction of $23,047 in the Paris Economic Development budget. There are 4 different elements that were impacted by these changes. Number 1 was personnel, a reduction of $94,077. We took the $200,000 that was in salary and benefits and revised that to reflect the remaining salary and benefits for the executive director position for the rest of 2016. So again, that reduction was $94,077. The second element is administration, an increase of $85,030. These money were designated to the contract employees that had moved to the administration account from the personnel account. It was to reflect the contract labor element of that. Again, that is an increase of $85,030. The third element is job training and direct incentives, a reduction of $64,000. We disencumbered $116,000 cash for jobs for Jay Skinner. They did not meet their incentive agreement, and then we have disencumbered those funds. And then we also included $50,000 for results for their new increase of employees and the job training that is related with those employees. So again, the fourth element, the total budget expenses, you're looking at a reduction of $23,047. I also wish to report to you that we received our financials for January. In those financials, you have I'll tell you what specifically, $2,162,904.62 that are unencumbered. Of that, you have $524,000. $564.23 for the INS and reserve for our bond payments. So you're looking at a total of cash and reserve balance of $469.05. Any questions that I can answer for you?
Well, you might want to introduce yourself to those people that don't know who you are.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. My name is Michael
I'm
Paris.
sorry, well, maybe I was reading it.
My name is Michael
Okay.
Paris. I'm the new executive
Well,
director at the Paris Economic Development Corporation.
Come on.
Thank you, Mr. Pickle.
Yeah, okay.
I was hoping to leave the wind in Wichita Falls. Unfortunately, I think I may have brought it with me. I'm not sure about that. But anyway,
No, we have a lot of hot air
But-
blowing in here.
But Mr. Pickle, Paris has been good to me the last few weeks. Everybody has been kind, and the move here has been wonderful. I cannot thank you guys enough for this transition, and I appreciate the opportunity to help serve this community. No more questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Need a motion? Make a motion, we approve the amendments.
I'll second.
We didn't discuss. You don't want to discuss it?
We can discuss it.
Okay. Did we have a second?
I seconded.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Okay, number 12, award a bid and approve an agreement with Richard Drake Construction Company, LP, for South Collegiate Drive reconstruction from Clarksville Street to Big Sandy Creek Bridge.
This is come on up, Carla. Carla Easton, which you met last week, the city engineer, but I'm going to try to go quick on this. The project we've talked about for off and on for a couple of years now between the bridge and Clarksville. This will rebuild that entire street. The section that's currently 2 lanes will be expanded to 3 lanes, which means it'll have a continuous turn lane in the middle. The low bid was RDC at $984,414. There was a deductive change order because we're a little over budget. We're recommending approval of that deduct change order. So we recommend total approval in an amount not to exceed $975,903.15. And Carla is here to answer any questions you may have.
What the heck's the hydromulching?
Seating.
Seating.
Oh, okay.
We'll do that outside of the contract ourselves somehow.
Okay.
When's it supposed to start?
We hope to start by April 1st.
And be through by?
In August, before the beginning of school. It's a 5-month contract, 150 calendar days.
What happens if it don't be through by August?
We have liquidated damages in the contract set at $500 a day, and we can certainly look at entertaining those if the contractor is late. We think it can be done in 5 months with fewer cars because of the summer months for school traffic, and then also the warm months means better weather days. So.
And it's a good opportunity too to remind you and also to tell folks that don't know this. Some portion of this, the road will be closed to through traffic, so that's going to be an inconvenience that we're going to deal with. But by doing that, we can get it done a lot faster rather than having traffic going through the construction site.
And just remember that the Tour de Paris is end of July.
And several other events,
Yeah.
including the archery shoot starting in
That's true.
April. So.
That's true.
You will be, because we decided not to build a turn lane on a bridge because we didn't figure anybody needed to turn left on a bridge.
Do you have any discussion on this?
No, but I'll make the motion.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. 13, Discuss and act on a request for funding for the Paris Metro route.
This, also very quickly, we talked about last time, we talked about a couple of times, the new Paris Transit as part of a matching grant. They're asking for $25,000 in funding from the city. Mr. Pickle last week.
Next 3 years.
Mr. Pickle last meeting talked about for 3 years. Of course, you can't make a firm commitment as one council, but you can certainly indicate that you want to do that this year, and a preference to do that in the second and third year.
Yeah, and I think that we heard with the presentation 2 weeks ago how important this is. We've, in full disclosure, the city is going to provide the construction for the
Signs and shelters.
Yes, and so this is over and above that, but I think it's that important.
This is a really good project for a lot of folks in town that really need it, absolutely.
Yes.
And I've been amazed by the community support that we've gotten, as well as commitments from PJC. And I think that it is just something that is very important, and the reason that we're trying to get even more money is because I want to go to 4 buses versus 2 buses as soon as possible.
Is it true that after everything's put in place, does the city take it over?
No, sir.
No.
This is not a city service.
Okay.
That's a good question, because I've been asked that same thing. It is not a city service.
What city won't ever take it over?
No, sir. There's no plan to do that. No intention or expectation.
Okay. Got it.
Or desire.
Anyone else wish to speak on this? I'm very much in favor. So many people in West Paris don't have the use of an automobile, and they do a lot of walking. It's much, much needed. So would
Anyway,
someone
I
like
will make my motion that we
make the
fund this
motion?
for $25,000 this year, and let it be known whatever we're supposed to do so that we can
Move it along.
move along and support it for the next 2 city council.
Do I hear a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay. Hear a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. All right, number 14, discuss and authorize the city attorney to proceed with disannexation proceedings as requested from the following property owners: Terry and Deborah Dollins, 3356 FM 79, Peter and Lisa Zacharias. I didn't murder your name, I'm sorry. 3388 and 3384 FM 79, Jesse Tucker, 3930 FM 79, O.B. McEwen, 3928 FM 79, Stacy and Sheila Pendergraph, 3790 FM 79, Ronald Dockeray, 3197 FM 79, Carolyn Patterson, 2 acre tract, Route 1 FM 79 and 2.5 acres, FM 79, Arthur and Joyce Lay, 3248 FM 79, and Carol Diggs, FM 79.
This was also on your agenda at the last council meeting. There were 2 different areas, one which we're still evaluating. This one is, in my opinion, pretty black and white. This should be disannexed. And so we recommend that you instruct the city attorney to prepare a calendar and begin that process.
Any discussion? Ms. Pickle?
Oh, ma'am.
Mr. Patterson?
The only real question I have, John, is to draw back to a point I made earlier, what's our tax base impact on this?
I don't know the specific amount on this. This is a number of houses and a number of acres.
Right.
As a percentage, each one of these we do is small. I do have the same concern I think you have, that if we do a whole lot of these at some point, it does make a difference. I've not recommended any of the ones we've done in the past, and I'm probably not going to recommend the one that's on there next month. This is the first one I've recommended in 29 and a half years. So I get your point, and I think I agree with it. But in this case, I think this is just one we have to do.
Okay.
Mr. Plotter?
I have no question.
No questions.
No, I don't have any questions on this. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll say.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. 15, Discuss and act on a resolution authorizing the City of Paris to use the power of eminent domain to acquire the necessary utility easements or fee simple interest in certain properties of the City of Paris, Lamar County, Texas, for completion of new utility lines included in Package 4.
You want me to address that?
Yes.
This is for the, maybe not hit the microphone, just speak into it. This is for the utility work in the water and wastewater work in Package 4. The information I have is that there were 73 easements needed for that project, that we've acquired 54 and recorded them already. We've got 5 where the acquisition is progressing and execution is anticipated, and there are 14 that are not progressing and recommended for condemnation. As this progresses, we will very likely have more of these that we're able to work through, but this is the list that is in the resolution that you've got in the packet to authorize the city manager to initiate the proceedings for condemnation, eminent domain on these easements.
Okay. Any discussion? One needs to discuss. Okay. Make a motion.
I'll read it. I move that the City of Paris authorize the use of the power of eminent domain and authorize the city manager to initiate condemnation proceedings under the power to acquire the necessary easements for the construction and maintenance of the improvements contained in Package 4 of the 2013 Water and Wastewater Bond Program on properties in the following areas. Area 1, North Loop 286 from Spur 139 South to the intersection with FM 195. Area 2, between 718 and 728 Pine Bluff South to a point between 715 and 725 East Price. Area 3, starting on the southeast side of the intersection of 6 Southeast Street and East Washington Street, heading southeast to the north side of East Polk Street. Area 4, starting on the southeast side of the intersection of 8th Southeast Street and East Cedar Street, heading southeast to the north side of East Oak Street. Area 5, starting approximately 213 feet southeast of the end of Stacy Lane, headed southeast to Lovers Lane, right-of-way. Area 8.
6.
Oh, Area 6, sorry. Yeah, that too. Area 6, 3200 Clarksville Street, located on the south side of Clarksville Street, across from the Lovers Lane right-of-way. I don't need to read it, thank you very much. That's it.
A second? I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I know that was a long motion, but you've made your lawyer very happy.
Thank you very much. 16, discuss and act on a new airport hangar ground lease.
At the request of the Airport Advisory Board several months ago, we began a process to revise the lease policy as well as the actual lease. In October, the City Council unanimously approved a new lease policy. It's about a page-and-a-half policy that you hopefully recall from October. The Airport Board has twice now met with me and reviewed a new lease, which is shorter and simpler, we hope, but also actually has more requirements in it as for the opportunities for us to enforce things to make sure they're being used for airport purposes rather than other purposes. The board did at their last meeting unanimously recommend approval of the lease agreement that you have in your packets, and so I also ask that you do the same tonight.
Any discussion?
Question.
Will
those that have airport or have hangar leases currently, will they be asked to bring these or wait till they mature?
No, sir. These will just be for new leases going forward. Those would not be converted.
Okay. Can we use these, convert those leases in the effect those people are so far past due that we need to do something stronger?
Certainly, if we have an opportunity to revoke a lease or amend a lease or change a lease, we can do that.
Okay.
And if we do, we would bring it up into this to the hopefully in a few minutes adopted new lease. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the release agreement.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed. Okay, 17, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081.
I don't have an event, but I do want to mention, most of you maybe already know this, but the trail construction was finished last week. The pavement was in. There's still signage and markings to do, but the pavement was done last week, so it's finished. Yeah.
And it looks good.
Finally.
Okay. No other? And number 18, I will take a motion.
Second.
And a second. We're out of here.
All righty.